Hey you and welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and my aim is to improve your drawings just like others have done for me when I just started out. In this week's video I'm going to go over some of the basic mistakes that a lot of beginners make when drawing black fur. I was one of those beginners at first, but I've come a long way since then, so today I want to share what I've learned with you. This will be a short video with just a few tips on how to get that black fur looking nice and shiny with a lot of depth in it, so let's get started. I will start off with the don't version of the black fur patch. A very common mistake here is to use black for the underlayer and nothing else. When we look at the fur in our reference pictures, I can guarantee that you'll see lots of different tones and colors in here, not just straight black. So the first mistake is to not use the other colors you can see in your reference picture for your underlayer. And of course, in our mind, it makes a lot of sense that the colors you would use to get in the hairs are grays and white for the highlights. Because it seems silly to take out those vibrant colors such as blue and purple, right? So that's what we'll add on the don't side, different shades of grey and a white to get in the final highlights. As we all know, fur grows in different directions, different lengths and curves. But as a beginner we tend to forget that because we are too focused on getting in every single hair. So we tend to make our pencil strokes very robotic and uniform, which doesn't look natural at all, as you can see here. This will become even more visible as we get in the do's version later on. As I've said, we're only using greys on this patch, so I go over the highlighted hairs again with the lighter grey, and topping it off with pure white for the brightest highlights, which we tend to overdo as a beginner as well. And that's about it for the don'ts patch of this black fur. Now let's move on to the do patch, as we want to get in a lot of improvements compared to this side. The first thing you'll notice is that I used 3 different colors right away to get in the underlayer, and we will add a 4th in just a second. I'm just using the basic colors blue, red and yellow and black to get in the darkest patches. This way you can't say that I'm using a lot more supplies or more expensive things as I work on this patch. Because that's what I believed as a beginner as well. If I just had that color or that set, I would be able to create masterpieces. Truth is that you don't need expensive or a lot of materials to create great pieces. You can just get the basic colors plus black and white and pan pastels and a set of Stabilo Carbontello pastel pencils and boom, you can create great pieces. Now back to this patch. As you can see, I mixed in a lot of blue with my black to make it less dull and more interesting. The more colors you add in your underlayer, the more depth you create. The colors need to make sense, of course, so keep looking at your reference picture before adding in some random colors. I mixed in some red with the blue to create a dark purple tone and a little yellow with red to get in an orangey brown spot at the corner there. Now onto the fur itself, I start off with a bluish grey here to get in the first highlighted hairs that I see on my reference piece. Notice that I am curving and switching up the direction and length of the hairs so that they don't all go in the same way and seem robotic. I'm not adding these all over the patch because we don't need to get in every single hair that we see on our reference. It's as much about the illusion of fur as it is about the fur itself. Next, I'm adding in some purple and blue to make it more interesting and to get in some contrast. Now make sure that you don't use too much of this though, as it will make it look very unrealistic. And after that I'm going over this patch with a black pencil again to get in some of the hairs in between the highlighted ones. A huge difference between the two patches is that on the don't one I only added 4 layers. The underlayer, a layer of fur, a lighter layer of highlights and the final highlights using white. That's it, nothing more. Now on this patch I will use a lot more layers. Feel free to count them and let me know in the comments below how much you've counted. The thing about realism is that you want to get in as much depth as possible, and you can only achieve that by adding in lots of layers on top of each other. The key here is to work lightly so you don't clog up the paper before getting in all of those layers. There's not much else I can say about this piece except that I hope you see a lot of difference between the two patches. And I hope you noticed that I didn't use any fancier supplies or anything to create the do patch, as it is just about adjusting the technique. I hope this video was helpful to you and that you hit that subscribe button by now if you haven't done so already. It helps me a great deal as it grows my channel and makes me reach more people just like yourself, so thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I also have a lot of other videos on my channel that might interest you. So definitely check them out. Next Friday, I'll be back with another video. See you then, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great week.